You serious?
There are plenty of ways to kill some time out there. Thanks for killing some time with us. This is an episode which features Colin Furze. Colin is a fucking kick-ass YouTuber. He builds amazing stuff. What kind of stuff? We'll get into that in the episode, but building cool things is a way of killing time. So we thought, hey, fuck it. Let's bring Colin Furze down to the show. Now, before we press record, usually I tell people that, this isn't radio, this is a podcast. So, in terms of language, you can swear as much as you want, Colin. If one comes out, then it's not an issue.
It's not big and it's not clever, Colin.
I don't know. I think sometimes
when there's a need for it, there's a need for it. But I always think like some of the best comedians are the ones that don't swear. Like I always think Michael McIntyre's a really funny bloke, and he does swear sometimes, but generally he goes out and he just makes fun of life and things like that, and he's funny. Where some comedians are just effing all the time, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, don't you think it's like when a comedian that doesn't swear does swear?
It
got
makes
more
it more
impact,
like Same
exciting.
with old people. You always don't expect old people to swear. I mean, like when I used to be a plumber, and you go around like old folks' houses and stuff, and it'd be like, oh, do you want a cup of tea, sort of thing. They'd be all like real sweet and gentle, and then they'd like stub their toe on the door, and it went, fucking door, and you'd be like, whoa! Do you know what I mean? This little old lady like leches out like a big F word, and you're like, oh, Christ.
I didn't know, did you had it in her?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like that. So yeah, more impact.
Yeah. Plumbing days though, that must feel like ages away for you now, no?
Yeah, it's weird because like as a plumber, if you ever used to go out anywhere, you went for a pee in a restaurant, you'd sit there like having a wee, you'd be looking around at the pipes, and you're thinking around, oh yeah, cold feed's coming around there, drop that down there, or like concealed cisterns, and you'd be thinking, oh, where's the access for the concealed cistern? I still do that. I still look at things and think like, oh, I wonder why they've done like that, or that's a bit weird. But I mean, I used to like the job. I've not got. I don't miss the actual job of it, sort of thing. I'm not in my shed building inventions. Think, quite like to go and whip a radiator on, or do a nice little airing cupboard. But at the same time, if the what I do all come collapse into an end, and I had to go back to it, it'd be fine. It's a good job. It's a good job.
Yeah. And when somebody asks you now what you do, what exactly do you tell them?
Well, it's a tricky question, you see, because sometimes, depending on where I am, I might still say I'm a plumber because it's an acceptable job and people understand it. If you say you make YouTube videos, it depends normally on the age of the person. Like the older people just don't get it. You make YouTube videos. Oh, all right then. And so how do you make any money out of that then? And that, you get all the obviously questions, you get money from advertising and stuff. And they're like, I don't get it, sort of thing. So sometimes you just need to say you're a plumber. But then, if people ask me what title I give to myself, that's always really tricky because some people look at me and think, oh, it's a bit of a stunt man, does some quite daredevil stuff. Yeah. Some people class me as an inventor, but then I always think an inventor invents something to solve a problem, where sometimes my things create problems. So I think, am I an inventor or am I just a creator? And then there's the whole thing that I'm doing at home, and some people say, well, would you class yourself an engineer? And I go, well, I am engineering, but am I an engineer? I don't know. I've not got any qualifications. So I fall into all these little brackets, a tiny little bit of each one is like what I do, but to sum it all up in one word and one sentence, it's kind of tricky. So,
yeah, because a lot of YouTubers nowadays, I'm not disrespecting the people that view YouTube, like view what you want, but there's a lot of YouTubers that are like, today I'm going to play a computer game and you're going to watch my reactions, or today I'm going to watch a video of someone's reactions and you're going to watch my reactions, whereas you don't do that on your YouTube channel.
No, I hold my head up quite high, actually. I think what the videos I make and the content I produce, I think is a very good, it's good quality. There are a lot of time and effort goes in, and I'm not saying other people don't put a lot of time and effort in, but it takes me a long time to physically create the things that I'm actually building, let alone make the YouTube video as well. So yeah, it is good. But then that's what the internet's about, and these people that do just play computer games and do reactions, they. A lot of people watch them. Yeah. A lot of people out there either must want to watch it or have got clearly nothing else better to do. I don't know. But I mean, it's like the guy that gets stuff out of boxes. I mean, who would have ever thought that you can make a career out of getting stuff out of boxes. But he does it in his own way. He puts his, injects his personality, he talks about things and stuff. So it's not just getting things out of boxes. And I think it's the same with all the vlogs, the computer games. You're watching it to see the other people's personality. And that's the same no matter what channel you're watching. You are there for the personality of the channel in question.
Exactly. There's channels, like you said, people play games and people watch them play games. There's channels where people might play stuff in slow motion. There's channels where people unbox stuff. What the hell goes on your channel?
Well, my channel is it's an amazing channel, everybody. I create machines, I create inventions, or I kind of realise dreams of an idea. So on some videos, I'll be making things go fast, like I did the world's fastest mobility scooter. I put like a pulse jet engine on an old lady's bicycle. So there's the kind of vehicle section, drift trikes, various other bits and bobs. And then I do my other things like inventions. So I've got like a knife which kind of toasts bread as you cut it, the toasting knife. There's jet-powered kettles, thermite kettles. We've got like a remote control wheelie bin. It's weird. I forget what I've made after time. There's so much stuff. Hoover shoes. There's a cake eating machine. All sorts of things like that. And then of course there's like the big idea videos. Like I built an underground bunker in the back garden. So completely dug the back garden up, built like a big steel box, like completely buried it over so like you can't see it from above, but you go into like the garden shed, go down some steps along a tunnel, and it's like a massive room. And things like that. So, I don't really pigeonhole myself into one particular category. I don't just do vehicles. I don't just do inventions. I tend to jump around from various different things. It keeps it interesting. If there's anything about my channel, you could never predict what the next video is going to be about.
It's going to be some awesome stuff at the end of the video.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Whatever it is, it's entertaining and you'll like it.
Yeah, that's right. And I can't believe you haven't got like a qualification in like engineering or something like that. Am I right? Did you?
Yeah, no.
I thought you were going to be like, oh yeah, well actually, I've got a scholarship in
No, just a plumbing qualification. But last time I checked, there was no underground bunker section in the plumbing
or
thing.
Was it a jet powered kettle? There was not. Yeah. There's not that section in.
Didn't cover jet powered kettles.
No, underground bunkers and jet. Okay, cool.
No 360 swings. No hover bikes. Swings. No hover bikes. Yeah, no flying section in the plumbing NVQ.
So if you didn't get that in your NVQ, if those modules weren't in the curriculum at the time, how the hell did you learn to build shit like this?
It's literally just a case of having a go. I mean, if you watch my YouTube, if you was to scroll back to the beginning ones and watch them all in the order, you can see me get better at building stuff as time goes on. Some of the earlier stuff was a bit cruder, and things have generally progressed as I've got more confident at doing stuff. You've seen other people do stuff, picked up different tips and things like that. And it can be something as simple like you'll watch somebody else's video where they're making something, and it might be something like how they've marked the center of a circle or something. You're like, oh, there's that tool there that does that. I've been trying to guess that, for the whole time, or spin it round or do something. So you just pick up these little things, and over the course of the 10 years that I've been making and uploading these YouTube videos, I've just got better at it. But no qualifications, just bought the tools, had a go. Broken a lot of stuff on the way, of course, because you can't get it right first time, but that's all part of the fun of doing it. So like literally trial and error. Yeah, totally trial and error. I mean, my main hobby before I did this, I used to ride BMX, and it's not too dissimilar. You got an idea for a trick or whatever, you just keep doing it until you can perfect it. You're going to fall off or whatever. Just the same as some of the things that I build don't work. Or things like my welding's got a lot neater. You look at my earlier welding, it was a bit splatty, whereas now it looks like a nice stack of dimes. So you did a bit of BMXing. Yeah. You like to BMX in a few places that most wouldn't though, right? What, roofs? Yeah. Yeah, get on the Woolworths back in the day when Woolworths was a thing. You used to be able to get on the roof. Yeah. It was good. It was good for a video. It was a nice backdrop because like Stamford's on a bit of a hill. So where Woolworths was, if you filmed it low enough, all you could see was like church tops and things like that. Yeah. So, that's kind of where I honed some of my video creating skills in the BMX days, because we used to go out filming ourselves. And then, editing's changed no end. We used to have 2 VCRs linked together with a SCART cable, and we'd press play on one and record on another. And if there was a mistake in the middle of the video, it just stayed there. I mean, I remember the first time I got my Mac and you could import stuff digitally and move stuff around. It was just like, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? This is so much easier. It was a bit like when I first bought a welder, and no longer did I have to bolt everything together. I could actually weld bits of metal. It's like the weight that's been lifted off you, and all of a sudden, all the things that you couldn't do, you can now do. And it was like such a relieving sense. I mean, it only lasts a few days, so you just take it for granted.
Weld that up.
Weld that up. You don't think like, oh, that's sweet, you couldn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, like, you did mention something there. You've been doing this for like over 10 years, because people might have just come across your channel in the last year or so and think, oh, wicked, you've just come out of nowhere. But you recently put a video on your YouTube which showed some of your pre-YouTube work as well. And I feel like you were doing what you're doing now, like you said, well long ago. And like you said, maybe it was a little bit less refined. Like there was a situation with a washing machine and a car. Yeah. And you kind of described what you used to do in your town when you got an old washing machine and a car. Do you want to run through us with that?
If you've got any old white goods, you don't just simply put it out for the tip. You go to a country lane and you just get somebody's old car and just drive over it. Just constantly smash into it or do bits and bobs like that. I mean, I'm quite fortunate that where I live, I know a lot of farmers and bits and bobs, so we have got places that we can go and do this. I suppose if you lived in a city and started dragging washing machines out into the middle of your street, driving over them, the old 5-0 would be straight round there.
Yeah, I think there's a few things that you get away with that to be fair, I look at some of your videos, I'm like, how the heck do you get away with firing this and building that? But I reckon you've got really forgiving neighbours. Yeah,
the neighbours, they're I mean, I push the boundaries, don't get me wrong, but I think they can appreciate the creativity in it, which kind of buys me a little bit of extra freedom. But at the same time, I'll try and do certain things when they're on holiday or away, or if they know they're not in. Yeah. Like Sunday morning, like quite a lot of them go to church. So if they ever give up religion, they would find out, oh my Lord.
Maybe that's how they go.
Yes. You're best off staying at church, people, because if you come home, you'll find out something else is going on in the back garden.
Oh, man.
But no, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, this happens. The more popular that you get at doing something, the more accepting socially you become. Yeah. Like 10 years ago, if you started messing around, doing some of the things I do now, you'd be classed as like complete nutcase. What you're doing, you're terrorizing the neighborhood or whatever. But now they know it's for YouTube. It's going to get millions of views. News sites might pick up on it. They're excited about it then, and it's like it's the same thing. It's just because everyone else likes it, you feel like you can like it as well, and you won't be slayed for that.
Yeah.
So, which is a bizarre fact of life, but it's helping me out now, so I'm not going to knock it.
Yeah, I suppose if I was your neighbour, I'd expect a surprise every time I looked over my garden fence, because there's always something going on in your backyard or underneath it, like you said. This is going to be a bit of a hard question for you, I reckon.
Yeah.
What do you think is your proudest build to date?
It's tricky. I get asked always like, what's your favourite one?
Yeah.
And there's a few different ones that have done different things for me, if you know what I mean. Like, so I'll look at certain builds, like the world's fastest mobility scooter was like the one that really cracked the media. It was like in every newspaper. It got me on like a few little TV shows and stuff like that. So it brought a lot of extra audience to me in a different way. And it was one of my favourite world records. So I like that for that. But then you kind of look at like the jet bicycle, which is like my most viewed video. And you think, oh, that's pretty cool. That was really dangerous. It's really noisy. It was like, completely mashed together from junk and bits and bobs. But then there's things like the bunker. That was like a project which was kind of like, we used to build underground dens when we was kids. I used to live next door to a quarry. We used to dig a hole and then you make a little pallet box sort of thing and then kind of cover it over with mud. So it's basically the adult version of something I used to do as a kid. And it was just so huge. And it's, I go down there, pretty much every day now anyway, because my mate uses it for band practice and stuff. So that's like one of those really awesome projects, which is, that's cool. How do you top that sort of thing? So that's got, I like that for the reason. The hover bike was just an absolutely barking mad idea, which I had no idea if it was going to work or not. But luckily enough, gambling with Ford's money on that one. I said to them when they rang up, I said, "Oh, Colin, we want you to make a really crazy vehicle." And I was like, "I've got this idea. We'll strap these two things together, which in theory should lift my whole body weight up. Let's do that and see if it flies. But if it doesn't, you spent a load of money on some on some propellers and stuff. It might not work." And but they went along with it. So, and it was good. It paid off though. Big video.
Yeah, and it did actually work.
It did. It got off the ground. It was hard to control, but it did. Function.
Yeah.
It did hover, and it was a bike, so it did what it says on the tin. And from somebody making something in their garage, I don't think I did too bad, really.
No, you did all right.
Yeah, I did all right.
And to be fair, what I like about your branded content is that you're like, yeah, it's branded content, but it's not like it really changes the greatness of the content of your video. It's not like, oh, for fuck's sake, he's talking about toothpaste. No, you're like making something to do with the product, so it still makes it a cool video to watch.
Yeah. I mean, the key thing with branded content is don't make a video that you wouldn't normally make.
Yeah.
Basically, make the video that you can make using their money, nearly, sort of thing, because they're putting a lot more budget into it, and it's just it's just turning what you do up even more, because you've got a bit more funds to play with. And I think most people, I mean, the bunker one was sponsored by Sky. It was about a program about the end of the world. There was not one comment going, "Oh, sponsored videos." Everyone's just like, "This is awesome. I want one of these in my back garden." Yeah. Same with the hover bike sponsored by Ford. Nobody was like, "Oh, Ford, whatever." It was just like, "This is awesome." Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just, just make cool stuff like you normally would, but someone else is paying for it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And something else has come along that made me think that you should be maybe a presenter on the show that is called Top Gear. Because you're into your motory kind of stuff. You mess with motors a lot, I guess.
I do. Funny, well, I'm not. I'm doing a project with them at the moment. Actually, video came out yesterday where I'm building a vehicle for the Stig to drive, and I'm souping up a Dodgem. So I'm putting a 600cc sports bike engine in a Dodgem car.
And how's that going so far?
Oh, it's going well. I can tell you the results are good. So
I feel like that's not the first time that's not the last time you're gonna end up being on Top Gear after you've
who knows?
I reckon. Who knows? So I reckon after the Stigs had to go on this beast that you're currently creating.
Oh, it's a beast.
Oh man, it looks crazy. I mean, what was that build like for you, by the way?
What, the Dodgem?
Yeah.
I mean, this is quite good, really, because I mean, it's kind of similar to what I've done. I made the fast mobility scooter. I've put engines in small things. I've put an engine in a horse, like a little plastic horse.
Not an actual plastic. I was going to say the operative word there's plastic.
I better fill that in quickly.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I thought it's kind of similar to that, but because I went so big with the engine, because I thought, right, you're not just going to put like a little, 2-stroke motocross bike engine or anything like that. And I thought, no, this wants to be something you got to tame. Because this is a tame racing driver, isn't it? This thing. I thought I'm going to give him a machine that he's going to look at and think, whoa, this thing's lethal. So sounds awesome as well. It's got no cans on it. It's just barks. Oh, it barks.
Oh.
So, but no, it's good. Managed to get it in. Didn't put anything around the outside because there's a few comments on the first video like, "Oh, why didn't you put the wheels on the outside? It'd be more stable." I'm like, yeah, it would be more stable, but it wouldn't look like a Dodgem. So I want it to look like you've just stole it off the fair ride.
So you can build hover bikes, tornadoes, firework tornadoes, souped up Dodgems. You've got no real professional training. You've taught yourself. I actually spoke to somebody who, by chance, was working with you on some branded content. We won't mention them.
Okay.
And I was like,
you could do. I've not fell out with anybody.
No. I just, I mean, I mentioned. I won't do it. But I mentioned your working process. I was just like, he makes some cool stuff. How do you know what he's going to come out with? And they mentioned a napkin arriving with some drawing on it.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking, what's your actual process of putting stuff together? Because I thought he's going to have rulers, this, that, da-da-da-da.
Yeah, because I get a lot of people ask for like you got the blueprints for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
where are the schematics?
There's nothing. There's no CAD. Some people go, do you work it all out in CAD first? I'm like, no, computers don't come anywhere near the process whatsoever because it would take me as long to draw it on the computer that would be actually to make the thing. So most of the time, I might do a couple of little scribbles on a pad. Like if I need to work out like if there's like a lever system or something like that, how's it all going to work? I did this these arm mounted rocket launchers. So like you flick a switch and these little tubes like pop out and you fire like fireworks out of them. So to work out how that was going to work, I just did a little rough drawing and I got some like lollipop sticks and just pushed some nails through them just to think, yeah, that'll work. And it's literally just simple things like that. So I can't, if somebody asks for the blueprints, take a photo of some lollipop stick. Yeah, mate, that's what I did. Good luck.
So like, I can't believe. So you literally just what's
begin.
In your mind. You just go.
Yeah, you just have to begin. I mean, it's the same with anything. Like take the Dodgem, like I did. You've got this. You know that everything has to fit within the shell of the Dodgem and within the tyre. So the first thing is, right, take the tyre off. Let's make, the base of the tyre, because that's the absolute widest. Nothing can go out of that. So you kind of do that. You sit that on the floor and then you're right, I need a back wheels, I need some front wheels, and you kind of place them roughly where you want, and then you just quite clamp them with the clamps. I think, right, so that's going to sit there. The front steering system, I looked at it and thought, that looks terrible. But I can't dwell on it at the moment because I need to work out where other bits are.
Yeah.
And you just start stuff, and you might have to go back a couple of, like you might advance further on and think, well, actually, there's more room to do this than I thought there was because that's managed to go further back and whatever. And then you can adjust it afterwards. But if you stand there staring at it or trying to measure it and work it out, sometimes it takes just as long, and it's easier to see problems when there's something physically kind of assembled in front of it. You can look at things slightly differently. You can think, I was going to do it like this, but maybe we won't bother with that now. We'll just shove that right up there and then we can put it on the other side or something like that. So it's a fluid thing.
Yeah. And when I watch a video, obviously your videos are only a few minutes long at a time. So it makes me feel like you put it together in a few minutes. How long do your builds take?
They take a while. I mean, some people moan like, "Oh, I've got to wait a week for the next part," and I'm like, "Yeah, but what you've just seen may have took me 2 weeks to make." And it's not just what you're seeing made as well, because obviously I'm filming it and editing it and making the video as well. So that takes time. So it's just such a laborious process that it does take a long time. You might get lucky and make something which you can slap together in a day. But some of the the bigger ones, I mean, like the bunker was like 2 months to do that from start to finish. Yeah. The hover bike, I think, was about a month and a half, 2 months, just trying to make it. Because the first version of it didn't even get off the ground; it was too heavy. So I have to keep chopping bits off it because it just wouldn't even lift off. So because you can't kind of gone belt and braces, because you can't think, right, we need to make something that's stable, sturdy, and if it was to flip or anything or crash onto the ground, it'd be fine. All that got chopped off. So couldn't have any of that on it. It had to go because he wouldn't get off the floor.
I'm not going to lie, watching that video, you look like you're a slip away from just like falling to some sort of evil villain's death at the end of a film, like a Die Hard film or something like that.
I suppose I do. I tend to do things on a knife edge. Yeah. You are on the edge of potential disaster.
Maybe you're here still.
But you're doing all right. Yeah, made it here, didn't I? The cab ride here, to be fair, has made me feel sicker than anything I've ever built.
Yeah, so you're not a good passenger.
Not a good passenger. Not a good passenger. No, they said, we'll get a cab here. And I didn't think anything of it, really. Didn't really, know how long a journey it was. And like halfway through the journey, like Karina's looking at me, are you all right? And I'm like, yep, I'm all right. Just keep going.
What, is it the speed bumps or is it just being in the back of a car? Because, London, there's loads of speed bumps.
It's a bit of both. I think it's as well, I'm a control freak. Yeah. I've got this saying, I like to hold the chips. I used to go to this chip shop when I was younger. This old girl, Kylie, lovely girl. And we bought this massive bag of chips. And even if she bought them, I still wanted to hold them. So, because I felt like I had more control. And it's not like I wouldn't share them. They're her chips.
Yeah.
You can have them, yeah. We'd share them sort of thing. But I always had to hold the chips.
Okay. So, and do you think that's maybe the beginnings of what put you in this direction in life, holding the chips?
Who knows? Maybe it was. You've got to go out and do stuff, haven't you?
Yeah.
So holding the chips is all part of that. So
how about now? Do you still hold the chips?
Oh yeah, totally.
All right.
I'm a shepherd. I'm not a sheep. That's the other saying, eh? There's some people in life just follow the way. They're sheep.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm a shepherd.
Yeah, shepherd who's not. I don't feel like you have a sense of fear. Do you have a sense of fear?
Yeah, there are certain. I suppose my line of risk is a little bit more than some other people's. I mean, like, take the 360 swing, for instance. Everyone looks at that as going, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. You have no straps on it. But what they don't see, I suppose, is the first time I ever got on it. And it's kind of like, I mean, the swing's a good one because you don't just have to get on it and go all the way over. You can build up to it. You know, you're in control of how much swinging you give it. And so the first version didn't have any straps because I was only going to go a little bit just to get a bit of a feel for it. And then I realised I can hold on to this quite well as I am and just nip it with my knees. And I'd like give it a bit of a push, gone round to, if it was a clock face, around to like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And I was thinking, well, surely this is the worst stage that it could be on because I'm kind of getting pulled to the side and upside down. And then on the next one, I just give it a bit more and over I went. And then once you've done it once, you're like, this is fine, don't need any straps on this. And that's it. Whereas, of course, when you see the video, you just see me get on and just go, whoa, straight over the top. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Guy's a knob. What's he doing?
Yeah. I was like, my tummy was turning when I watched that. I mean, would you say that's one of the scariest things you've done?
When we put the paramotor engine on it, so it was powered, that was pretty stupid because even at tick over, it accelerated you. So the only way you could even begin to slow down was to switch it off, but it got going quite fast. So the concentration that I had to have to lift to put my finger on the kill switch was like, it was weird. It was a moment like, oh no. I mean, luckily enough, it didn't have much petrol in it, so it would probably run out of petrol. But if it started accelerating too much, there's no way I'd be able to hang on. I'd have ended up getting flung off it. So, that was a bit risky.
Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, it seems like something that you need someone on the ground to just sort of check that you're right. I mean, have you got a team of people that help you with stuff? Because you're starting to build very big things.
Yeah, I've got my mate Rick who comes and helps me. Because some things, obviously, clearly one person can't put up themselves. It's a two-handled job, two-person job,
two-portion of chip job. That's what it is.
There's two bags of chips to hold.
Yeah.
So he comes and helps me, but I mean I suppose he does a bit of the building and stuff like that, but it's mostly just me, if you know what I mean. So, but he's a very useful person. It's all good. Thank you very much, Rick.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks.
Yeah, cheers, Rick.
Cheers, Rick. Appreciate that.
But what Rick also does is, in the earlier days, I used to use one band's music for my videos, and he's the writer of the music, and he's also in the band that uses the bunker for band practice.
Really?
Yeah. Wilbur Project he's in, which is kind of like a rock and roll bluesy sort of band, which is quite good.
So it's only their music that you use in your videos?
No, not just. I mean, that was back in the day. Whereas now, of course, I'm producing more videos and they can produce songs. So I've had to diversify and use other people's. But I don't know. For the first 6 years, it was purely just March to the Grave music that he's the songwriter in as well.
Cool,
so,
cool.
It's all good.
Get on it, mate. More tunes, the hits. Think of the hits.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you feel like you can't build? A Starship Enterprise, obviously, that's way crazy, but a feasible thing that you think you might be.
I'm not massively good with electronics, so if you ever need anything that needs any like computery stuff in it, I'm always like, oh, that never works, does it? It always breaks and things. So I tend to keep things to be in a mechanical base. But I don't look at anything and think I can't build that. I always think there's a time when that will be right to build,
right?
Sort of thing. Like I said, as you get more and more confident, if you'd have asked me to build a hover bike 6 years ago, I'd have just been like, oh, I can't do that, sort of thing. Whereas, in reality, you can. You just need to build up to it. So it's a right time to build everything.
Yeah. And is there a project that you'd really like to get your teeth into, but you think maybe you'd need like a bit of backing from a brand? Like, is there? Yeah,
backyard roller coaster.
Oh.
We need big dollar for that, and we need the neighbours to move. so once the neighbours have gone,
or more church services.
more church, so we need to either buy all the houses that surround me or do it somewhere else, which it's not a backyard roller coaster then, though, is it? That's the thing. But yeah, that would be awesome. So it's on the list, but there's just the circumstances of the stars haven't aligned for it quite yet.
A roller coaster.
Yeah, but it's a roller coaster like you'll have never been on before. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I don't want to give away the secrets of this roller coaster, But it's already planned in my head. But there are elements of this roller coaster that would make Alton Towers shit themselves. Because, I mean, they've had some issues already anyway, haven't they? I mean, those sort of issues could come with the territory on what I'm thinking.
I was going to say...
I mean, we won't say any more.
Yeah. I was going to say, would you ever go first?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like a lot of my things, mostly it's only me that have ever been on them.
Yeah.
Because, there's not a queue of people jumping to have a go on the hover bike and the jet carts and stuff. Like sometimes we'll be out and I say to my mate, do you want to go on it? No, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
So I'll just film it.
I'll just film it. I'll let you have a go.
Yeah.
It looks really fun, just not for me today.
No, it's all right.
I'll hold the chips. Yeah.
So the 360 swing, like Rick had a bit of a go on it and he got to about 9 o'clock and he's like, that'll do. I've just got halfway. Carl, the guy that does some of my drone filming, he nearly did it. He nearly went all the way over. In fact, to be fair, he did it. He got up to about like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I was like, you may as well just do it now. But I think his arms were a bit tired. He was like, I'll come back and do it another day. But then I took it down then, so he never got his second chance.
I was going to say, like, what's the lifespan of stuff when you built it? Because I see a lot of the backyard that you use, and then there's a lot of stuff that goes in it. So once it's made, if I made something a quarter of the size or a quarter as complex, I would never take it apart. I would leave it there.
I would have loved to have kept it up. The 360 swing I'd have loved to keep up, but it was a pain to mow the lawn round, which is a bit of a nightmare. And plus, I don't think the neighbours appreciated it as much as I did. It was nice at night. It had all like lights and everything all over. It all lit up like a what would you call, like a little fair ride. It looked pretty awesome. And then so I took that down. And it was like, brilliant, that's gone. 2 months later, Star Wars AT-AT. So.
That was wicked. Like, can we talk through how you made that? Because that was a big.
That was one of these projects that you get presented. Can you try and build like a massive AT-AT or whatever you want to call them from Star Wars? And you think, that'd be awesome. And you do worry because, like, especially with Star Wars fans, they're very, all the little details matter to those people, sort of thing. They look, they buy all the figures, they know everything. So I'm thinking, as well as getting the proportions and the size impressive, we've got to make sure it looks as much as possible like the ones that they see in the film or the toy versions. So all the little side hatches, the blocks and stuff like that, we tried to mimic them as much as possible within the time we had. And I knew we'd done it well is when I held the toy version up, which is the one that we'd measured to get all the dimensions up, and I held it up in like kind of in the foreground and took a photo, and the two like nearly kind of looked like identical next to each other. And I thought, that's good. You've done a good job of that, Furze. Have a pat on the back.
Yeah, pat on the back and a pint and a pub.
Yeah.
It looked really impressive on the inside and outside as well. So it's like you've not just got a knack for making stuff.
Yeah.
You actually can make it look good as well. Like, I'm not disrespecting the stuff you've done in the past, but when you've put, for example, a motorbike or an engine in a horse, it's a little bit rough around the edges. What do you expect from an engine in a horse? But you're kind of like, I wouldn't say you got that architecture, that design element to you, but actually, no, I'm saying that. It looks pretty good.
It's all
very accurate.
Yeah, the show is just as important as the construction. Really,
right,
it's got to look. It's got to look good. Sometimes when you build stuff, you'll add little lights and flashy bits just to try and kind of make it a little bit more dramatic or whatever. And whenever I make stuff, I always try and think, what else can we add to this? Give it a bit of jazz sort of thing.
You're working on finish now. I think that finish is you're perfecting the finish on your
the finish is important. I mean, some people are only interested in the mechanics and how things work.
Yeah.
But then I think, for it to have the complete package, you've got to include that finish. And those little, like I made a rocket, firework rocket launcher, which kind of sits on your shoulder, a bit like an RPG sort of thing. And you kind of, you're making the video and you think, this is all very well. You're firing rockets off your shoulder. It looks pretty cool. But what else can I do to make this seem more fun? So I tied my socks to the rocket so I can fire the rocket off, and it took my socks off. So it's like little stupid things like that they could just make the video that little bit better. Because it's like, rocket launcher, really cool. But then you take your socks off and it's like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I always try and, think of little tiny things to do with certain projects that just, kind of just make them a little bit more entertaining or a bit better.
Yeah, and the little tiny touches definitely do make it funny. So, in your house,
yeah,
because there's a lot of wild stuff going on outside your house,
Oh, who's to say there's no wild stuff going on inside the house?
Anyway, so how about inside your house? Like, is there loads of stuff going on? With regards to you building?
It's reasonably normal, actually. I mean, there's a couple of bits of furniture which I've made myself. The coffee table is made from the engine block that was in my truck.
Right.
And I've got like a massive mirror which is made out of the turbine blades of a jet engine. But the actual house itself, it's a pretty normal house. The only thing I suppose it has got now is I've got the unique doorbell system, because when I'm in the shed, the amount of parcels that I was missing was just ridiculous, because you shut the doors and stuff, you can't hear the doorbell. So I've made a doorbell system where basically there's 3 extra doorbells on the house. So there's like a special one for the house, one for the shed, and then one for the bunker as well. All works. It's a proper working thing. I've got an air horn in the shed. The bunker's got like a fire alarm and a machine gun that goes off. And then the one in the house is like, the little springs that sit behind the back of the door to stop you knocking the door on the skirting board. It's got like a row of them and a little thing that flicks around and bang, 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 and goes. It's quite irritating, but it makes you answer the door, doesn't it? So it's all good. So yeah. So other than that, the house is pretty standard. Sometimes when you get like film people that come around to give you an interview, they're always like, oh yeah, your house really nice. I'm like, well, what do you think it's going to be like, a shithole or whatever? With like, bits of, I thought there'd be like, old engine in the bath or something, or like, something in the kitchen. But I'm like, no, it's not just me that lives here. Got the missus and the kids and stuff. So.
Yeah. Do you want to get the kids into doing what you're doing?
If they get into it, they get into it. I shan't push them into it, because I know some parents can be like, I do this, so therefore you will do it and you will be better. And they kind of live, or they'll try and get them to do something that they could never do. Kind of live your life through your kids. Sort of. Yeah. But I mean, I think he's showing signs of being interested in stuff. He comes in the shed. He's got his own little workbench thing in the corner, which every now and again he kind of shows an interest in. He's a little bit young at the moment, but no, if they want to get involved, they can get involved. Yeah.
Gosh, learning from such a young age, I can only imagine what Jake's going to be doing.
Once he's old enough that he can ride and drive stuff. I mean, Christ, he's got some toys to inherit, isn't he?
Yeah, he has. And he's got some welding. He's got some machinery. You have some serious kit, though.
Yeah, we've got TIG welders, plasma cutters, big lathes. The mill's not very good, but, I'll replace it one day. And stuff like that. But no, it's got all that shed, because I weren't really allowed. My dad used to have a big shed, but I weren't allowed in it, really. I mean, he used to have his little bit where he used to sit there reading his newspaper, and there was a bit in the back, and I was like, come on, can we clear this bit out in the back? And he was like, no, it's full of all my stuff, there's no room. And then when he passed away, I got in there, I was like, it was full of crap. So I mean, just some of the sorting methods he used were questionable. You'd have like something the size of a bag of Maltesers in something the size of a huge Rice Krispies box or something, and you think if you just put stuff in boxes the size of the item, we could reduce this whole pile down to something, which was just got to put it in a drawer. Yeah. But there we are. Maybe it was just his space, and he didn't want Colin in it.
No, my dad's like that as well. He'll put stuff in a box and then put the box in a box, and then the box will go in another box. And it'll carry on like Russian dolls of boxes. And inside all the boxes, there's literally like a screw. Yeah. Crazy. So you must have a lot of stuff on your mind when it comes to, I wouldn't mind building that. Like you've already told us about the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about anything that you'd like to do in the next sort of 6 months, year? Like what have you got on the horizon, or what are you kind of thinking a little bit about?
There are various things going on. I can't say too much about some of them yet. You're about a week or two too early, potentially. Other than that, I mean, obviously we've got the old Dodgem project going along with Top Gear at the moment. Very nice. There's we've got a couple of little smaller inventions coming up after that, and then after that, well, I mean, there's a list. I've got like a bit of a list which I've got at home, which is like, I think I'll have a go at that one there. So various bits and bobs, but I don't know. I like to keep it as a surprise, because everyone nowadays is like, social media and everything. It's all like, we want all the background information, we want to know everything. And I think it takes some of the surprise out of a lot of stuff. Because if I documented like loads of pictures of the Dodgem build and put it all out there before the first video, you kind of feel like, well, where's the why would you want to watch that video? I've already seen loads of bits. I've seen a picture of this, like miles down the line, And then sometimes people think, I just watch the last one when it's finished, sort of thing. So I tend to like to keep things, a little bit secretive, so nobody knows what's coming on Colin Furze channel. It's just come up, bang, it hits you, and you're like, whoa, jet powered toilet, yeah, I love it.
A little bit of a tease.
Yeah, just keep it in suspense. Don't give it all away.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to keep, remain a little bit secret. Don't just tell everybody everything.
All right, I'll learn from that. Thank you very much. So, when you're not building kick-ass shit,
Right.
how do you like to kill a little bit of time?
Well, what do I do in it's basically because this used to be my hobby. So,
Plumbing, please tell me that it's plumbing.
If I weren't, I'll go do a bit of plumbing. I'll go and change the taps.
Yeah.
So obviously, when I used to go to work being a plumber, I'd come home, have my tea, and then go and build some kick-ass shit in the shed, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Whereas now I do that all day. To be fair, running the YouTube channel like I do is pretty full on. Yeah. So you tend to build stuff and film it during the day, and then you have your tea, talk to your children and stuff like that, and then you do a bit of editing and bits and bobs. If I'm not doing that, I used to like going motocross riding, like green laning and stuff, but that's getting harder and harder because we're not the country that accepts people ragging motorbikes around the countryside willy-nilly anymore. So that's kind of got a bit more difficult. I like watching films and bits and bobs like that, but that's kind of just like relaxation rubbish, really. Yeah. Taking the car for Mrs. went on holiday. She went on a cruise for 2 weeks, not so long ago. So I had the whole house myself. It was amazing. I tidied up the night she left. Yeah. And it stayed tidy for the whole 2 weeks.
She took the kids as well.
Oh yeah. Oh Christ, yeah. Can't leave me with them. They'd be dead. They'll be malnourished, or I'd have nailed them to the wall. So I can't cope with two. I can look after one, but whenever she goes, I'm going to go to a cafe with my mates, I'm leaving you with both of them. I look as white as I did when I got here after getting out of the taxi drive from feeling sick. I just no, you can't leave me with both of them. I can't cope with two of them. So, but I can't remember what we're talking about now. I'd take the car for a spin. Or something like that. Let's go for a burn in the car, or go belt around, do things like that. Bits and bobs. Yeah, but I enjoy what I'm doing. My pastime used to be making and fiddling around with stuff, and that's what I'll do. I'll spend time on the internet, kind of looking at seeing what other people are doing, and getting ideas for stuff like that. And bits and bobs, just trying to switch off from it all. Really, it's it keeps your mind really active, thinking of all these things. And just sometimes if something's not working right, you can lay in bed at night just thinking of something in your head, where am I going to get that to fit in there and stuff. You'll be, sometimes it's better to just go back into the workshop and try and fix it, because you can't sleep thinking about it. So is that you do a couple of midnight working sessions? Yeah, I've been in there. I think the latest I've ever been in there to is 3 a.m, and that's actually on film. There's I made a thermite launcher, where it was like this machine which launched shells of thermite. And on the second build video, where I actually finish building it, and I'm saying to the camera right now, it's all finished now, just got to, take it all polished to bits. It was 3 o'clock in the morning when I was filming that, because I wanted to get a load of bits anodized, but the lead time for the anodizing was like a week, and they had to have them on like Tuesday mornings, or else it'd be on the following week. And I was like, no, I've got to get it done before that. So I thought, I have to finish this thing tonight. So it was like belting along till 3 a.m. And I watch back now, and I think you did well to string a sentence together that late at night, because it's like when you get tired, you can't speak properly, can you? You just end up messing your words up and talking absolute nonsense. So I was quite pleased with that.
And what do the neighbours think of that 3 a.m?
Your shed's insulated. It's pretty good.
Oh, is that good? You got it soundproof?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty soundproof. Right, I mean, like really the really big grinder, you can kind of hear a little bit, but they would never hear that in their bedroom.
Oh, that's all right. Now, excuse me for sounding stupid, but what's anodizing?
Anodizing is like a process to like colour. It colours, and it also hardens aluminium. Right. So if you ever seen anything aluminium, a bit like, kind of like the old iPods used to have like an anodized look to them. Like that kind of shiny, metallic-y blue, pink, things like that. You can do it with black as well. But it's basically like a posh way of painting aluminium.
Okay, and that was on the thermite launcher.
It was on the thermite launcher.
What is thermite?
Thermite?
I feel so stupid.
Thermite.
Wait, we're in a room with a couple of other people. Do you know what thermite is? Ish.
You should do.
We've got some issues.
Jamie, you should know a little bit what it is. if he's watched the video.
I know that it's hot.
Oh, it gets
I know
really
it gets
hot.
very hot. That's all. But I was like, thermite. I got to ask Colin.
It's basically rust and aluminium powder. So
right.
you can buy like the stuff out of an Etch-a-Sketch. That's aluminium powder. So if you literally go on eBay.
So kids, no, you know.
No, it's honestly, it's not a restricted substance.
All right,
so you can make it at home. It's not legal.
Really?
Yeah. It's fine aluminium mesh, as they call it, real fine stuff. There's different like grits or whatever, which is the finer the better. And then the iron oxide, I can't remember what the blooming chemical code for it is. And then you just mix it together in a certain ratio. Can't remember what that is neither. I have to look it up. But, it's not you just Google it.
Yeah.
Thermite ratio. It'll be there, come up on the top. It's not secret.
Yeah.
Mix it together. And then to start it burning, you can either use a garden sparkler or a bit of magnesium strip. And then it flashes up, gets really hot. And then there is you're left with basically is a lump of steel at the end of it because it kind of makes like a real bad grade of metal when it's finished. But of course, because it gets really hot, that's useful. You can make a cup of tea really fast.
Oh, yeah.
Because I made a kettle where it uses thermite as a heating element.
Right.
So, and I think it was 40 seconds it boiled the kettle in, which is an improvement of about 20 on a normal kettle and about 15 seconds faster than the jet kettle or something. So, I love my cup of tea. Can't be a cup of tea. If there's any way of making a cup of tea faster, I'm in for it.
How'd you take your tea?
Oh, really milky.
Yeah.
Used to be 2 sugars. Used to be 3 at one point, but I'm cutting down a little
3
bit.
3 sugars?
Yeah, well, you see, I'm getting a bit older now.
Yeah.
You have to watch your figure.
Oh, yeah.
So it's starting to carry a little bit more if I'm not careful. So I've cut right down. I did start to do no sugar, but I come down in the morning and I was like, this ain't life, Colin.
Nah.
You're going back to sugar.
Live a little.
Yeah.
Live a little. If I'm
can't-
honest with you, what I do is I'm a bit of sweetener and a bit of sugar because sweetener just ain't right.
No, sweetener's foul stuff.
Yeah, but if I want a bit more kick, I want a bit of sugar.
Yeah.
If I want to top it up, I'll put a sweetener
Put a
in.
bit of sweetener in it. You don't feel quite so naughty, do you?
It's like vaping. It's not really sugary. It's not a full sugar experience. It's just a little,
Just a
extra bit of taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, really weak. I mean, everybody, because I made a cup of tea on one of my videos and I always put the milk in first, which everyone slated the hell out of me for.
No, that's the proper way.
Well, I do milk first because when you pour the hot water in, you don't get like lime scale form because it's a little bit colder. It won't make a stronger cup of tea, but I have weak tea, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you have it milky.
So,
So where can we find videos of you making numerous ways to make a tea quickly and everything else that you've spoken about, explosives, rocket launchers, all of that sort of stuff?
mainly on YouTube, Colin Furze, all one word, and you spell my surname Furze.
Excellent.
Which apparently, I get told on every video in German means fart. So,
you're called Colin Fart?
I'm Colin Fart in Germany, which is why I think Germany is my third most popular country because they always think, it's Colin Mr. Fart with the crazy inventions, yeah. Sort of thing, and they love all their engineering and stuff. So I think I've been on German TV more than I have England.
You must be like this wacky
English
in England.
Yeah.
You must be this wacky professor to them.
Yeah,
Professor
don't
Fart.
they? You go see Mr. Fart, yeah. You're crazy.
That's wicked. That's awesome. So you make loads of stuff that blows up and you shoot stuff and there's fire coming out of it. You must have had a little slap on the wrist from the police at some point because, it's fun stuff.
Yeah, I've had the old 5-0 round. Back in 2010, I think it was, I put a flamethrower on the back of a moped, which is a fantastic idea. It was pretty cool. But police didn't like that. But I think it was mainly because the photo got in all the papers and the photo was me on a public road. I think if I'd have done it down a country lane or in my back garden, they may have looked at it but may have thought, he's all right, he's in his back garden, but because I think it was burning up the road with it. So, lessons learnt and all. But I know the Stamford police, they watch my videos. Right. I went to pick up an Indian one night and there was a load of them all waiting for a takeaway. And they just all it was just questions. Oh, what about that thing? That's really cool. What are you doing now? What are you doing next?
Right.
And I think,
you should have said flamethrower on a motorbike.
Yeah.
See what they say.
Yeah, very convenient.
Yeah.
All the things I listed were not weapon related at all.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations on the 4 million followers that you've more than well surpassed on your YouTube channel at the moment. So, looking at that 4.5 soon.
Well, I think we're on 4.33 or something at the moment, which is all good. So it's amazing. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, man, and keep them coming, please, because they're absolutely awesome. And you've made a few X-Men related or mutant and superhero related things.
I was thinking this is another one of the things I actually missed at the beginning. So as well as the vehicles and the inventions and various bits and bobs, I try to make things out of films and computer games as well, and that could be either weapon related or just interesting gadgets. So one of the things that really jumped my channel forward was when I made some Wolverine claws, these fully automatic Wolverine claws, and people just went mad for them because it was like, it kind of brought me a new audience, I guess, because there was all like the kind of comic people and the cosplay, people that love all that stuff. Whereas, rather than making things out of cardboard and lollipop sticks and things, it was actually fully working metal Wolverine claws that deployed and retracted back down your arm. And you can imagine for an X-Men fan, X-Men fan, that's just like, oh yeah, I've got to get me a set of them. I mean, we get a lot of emails for people trying to buy the Wolverine claws or the Assassin's Creed stuff. Yeah, do you ever get, I was going to say, do people hit you up and say, yeah, I love it, can I have one of those, please? Yeah, loads.
Put that in black. We've got Wolverine claws, but 5 instead of 4. That sort of stuff.
Unfortunately I don't sell anything I make.
All right, good, rightly so. It was a Deus Ex, that was the design that that apparently came on paper, am I right?
Yeah,
that was it.
Deus Ex, Deus
Ex. And
I remember the drawings, actually. I probably remember why the guy found them funny, because they were like like a 5-year-old did them. I remember sending them off and said, I'm just sending you these so you can kind of get an idea of what I meant.
Literally, I had a cup of tea with him about an hour ago, and he literally went, "Oh, you mean Colin Furze?" He goes, "Mate." So we're in this really important meeting where we're discussing content, and we're like, the blueprints, the schematics are coming through. They're going to show us exactly what this is going to look like. And it, and it was a piece of paper that we used to have scribbles and lollipop sticks in it.
Yeah, kind of. It was. If you look at things like there's the beginning of the bunker project, I go, right, this is the plan, and I flip this chart around, and literally it's like the worst picture of it's like a garden shed with a little person, a stick man stroking a cat in this little box. And the Deus Ex one I sent was in very much the same theme as that. And it was just some circles with some bits and little arrows with rockets will deploy here and things like that. So, I mean, I did look at it and think, is anybody who's non-practical going to get what this is about? Sort of thing. But, well, it clearly did the job because, we ended up doing it. So
worked.
Whoever in that room was signing the document to say, this is worth pursuing, was obviously impressed with the drawing.
I think they're happy. And before I let you get out of here, Square Enix have got the rights for Marvel computer games, so there might be some more mutant-based stuff coming along from there. So, you know where I am. Of anyone, they know where you live.
They know where I am.
Yeah, just look for the, just listen for all of the grinding of metal and stuff getting put together. But thank you very much for coming and killing some time with us.
That's all right. It's all good fun.
Yeah, man. And look forward to seeing more of your stuff on Top Gear and also on your YouTube channel as well.
Thanks for listening.
He's a nice guy, that Colin Furze. Make sure you check him out on his YouTube channel. We will put links in the show description to his YouTube channel. And I think, I'm going to put this out there. I shouldn't put this out there before we've published the episode, but we might be able to find that bit of paper that Colin was talking about that he scribbled on. And we'll put that up on Twitter and stuff so you can kind of see what a Colin Furze blueprint looks like. Anyway, there's plenty of ways to kill some time out there. You can check us out at howtokillanhour.com. Listen to all of our shows there on whatever device you have. Also check us out on social media at howtokillanhour on everything. I've been Marcus Bronzy. There's plenty of ways to kill some time out there. Thank you for killing some time with us.